ladies and gentlemen, Maxwell Atoms and Greg Eagle. You might be off. Some might
Hello?
Be off. There we go.
Is this on? Is this theme on? Yeah, I think it is.
Hello?
Yep.
It's an old comic line. Is this on? Is this theme on? When they start bombing, you know, nobody laughs. Is this on?
I get those a lot, actually. So, first, hello. We'll start off with just some basic introductions. I know who you are. They might know who you are, but just in case they don't, can you let them know who you are and what your role was on the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy?
Hi, I'm Maxwell Atoms. I was born in San Antonio, Texas in 1974 when I was a little baby for a long time. And then they made a show called The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and that lasted 7 years, which is where I met this guy.
Hello, I'm Greg Eagles, and I play a character called the Grim Reaper, believe it or not.
That's me. I play Grim Reaper on the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and yeah, we had a good time at Cartoon Network. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the show, and it was probably one of the most fun shows I've ever worked on, no doubt. So that's me.
That's awesome. And I'm Jimmy, and I'll be your moderator for this panel. First and foremost, thank you both for being here this Sunday morning. You could have been anywhere.
Is it still morning? What is it?
It's for now, you know. It might be. It's morning somewhere, right? So I'm going to start off with probably the most controversial question that you're going to get asked all panel. We're going to get it out of the way. Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
I'm a big yay on that, actually.
All right, we got a yay?
Controversial.
No, I can't do the fruit on the pizza thing.
No fruit on pizza. You don't like more fruit? Okay.
What about clams? I know a place where you can get clams and garlic, and it's pretty good.
Clams and garlic on pizza?
I could take a little clam, but no fruit. Fruit is meant to be cold. Cold, not baked.
I'm very.
Am I right or am I right? Come on, who am I? Cold fruit people.
Okay. I'm very much on the pro pineapple on pizza. There's one spot that has cherries on pizza as well. Like it's cherries, pineapple. Don't yuck my yum, all right? It's delicious. I've had banana on pizza as well. I'm saying there's this whole world
That's where I
missing
draw
out
the
on.
line.
All right, I told you guys this is going to be very controversial, but let's kind of reel it back a little bit. I want to know, this is specifically for Maxwell, I'll ask both of you actually. Entertainment industry, not easy to get into. Being creatives, being actors, getting paid for it, right? That's the dream for a lot of people, and it's not easy. So, can you give us a little backstory of where you were before you got into the entertainment industry, and how'd you get into it to get to where you're at now?
Sure, yeah. I've always wanted to make cartoons since I was a little kid, so I ended up going to art school for college, moved out to Los Angeles afterwards. I got very lucky that I got an internship at Film Roman, which was the place that did The Simpsons and Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat, which was the very first thing I worked on, and I just met Felix the Cat in the back room. So from there I ended up at Hanna-Barbera, which had just been bought by Cartoon Network, and they were looking for their second round of shows for their Big Pick weekend, and that's kind of how we got in on that one.
Well, I came out to LA from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right after I got out of college. Milwaukee's in the house. All right.
Half an hour ride.
All right, cool. I'll be back there at the end of the month, actually, for Nostalgia Con in Milwaukee.
I think there's a guy from Milwaukee back there.
Well, there you go. My man. All right. Well, anyway.
We'll do fan questions at the end. Thank you. Sorry.
No, I moved out here from right after college, and I didn't know, I had no real, I guess in the back of my mind I always wanted to act, but I got into show business as a page at CBS Studios. And from there, I somehow got into stand-up comedy. And I started performing at the Comedy Store as a regular. And I always liked doing voices and stuff like that. So it just seemed like a natural fit that I would eventually get into voice acting. But it started in a weird way because I signed with a commercial agency just as they were starting their voiceover division. And I never booked an on-camera commercial in my life through them, but the first voiceover audition I went out for, I wound up booking. And after that, it was off to the races. I just started booking stuff left and right. I eventually got on The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, as well as several other shows and games. So it was the luck of the draw, but I was kind of like ready when it happened because I had done a lot of different things. I had worked in radio as well before I actually started doing animation. And the stand-up thing really helped a lot because it really boosts your confidence. If you can perform in front of a live audience and make people laugh, that's an asset in a sense, because when you audition for things, it takes the stress off a little bit more. Yeah.
That's awesome. I want to go back a little bit to the creation of The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, because you mentioned it was for Cartoon Network was looking for shows. So that idea you had for this kooky, crazy, dark show, how did that idea come to be? And of course, what was that? Did you get any pushback from Cartoon Network? Like, is it too dark or is it just right? Can you let us know a little bit about how that went?
Yeah, I as a kid, I was always sort of horrified by monsters and spooky stuff, and then I became obsessed with it and eventually loved it. So when I was making the show, I was like, well, maybe I can help other kids sort of do that as well. So I think it was, part wanting to horrify people and part wanting to not horrify people. What was the second part of that question?
Did you ever get any pushback from
Oh,
Cartoon
right.
Network?
Yeah, so weirdly enough, I feel like when they picked it up, it was like some sort of internal bet between like two executives. I'll never know for sure, but it feels so strange that they would choose this show that has a Grim Reaper as the main character. Like, I was 20 whatever, so I didn't know what I was doing. I was just throwing stuff at the wall. But the fact that they did that, I sort of feel like somebody had some money on this somewhere.
I mean, Cartoon
But
Network.
we didn't really get a lot of pushback on. I don't think they knew what to do with the dark stuff and the sort of comedy stuff. I was always able to just negotiate with them.
That doesn't really surprise me. I mean, Cartoon Network has had a bunch of weird shows where now as an adult, I'm like, how did that go through, right? But I am kind of not really surprised, but at the same time, I am surprised. But no, that's amazing. But my next question is actually for Greg, because I don't know, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, Maxwell. I don't know if the Grim Reaper was always meant to have that Jamaican accent. Can you share a little bit of how that came to be?
Well, when when I auditioned, we were just messing around. I think it was me and you and Chris Zimmerman. We were trying to just try out different things. And I know you initially wanted him to be British, right, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, that was the plan. He was kind of based off Dr. Smith from the original Lost in Space. We even had that guy come in, and I think if you ask for something in an audition, you're gonna get that, and you're gonna get it in spades. So it's just after 2 or 3 days of just hearing not quite right British, and somebody comes in and blows your mind with something else. It's a good thing.
It was kind of a lucky thing, I guess, because the character, there was a specific actor that came to mind when I did this voice. Is an actor by the name of Jeffrey Holder, and back in the day, he did a series of commercials for 7-Up, in which he's this big, tall, exotic-looking, bald-headed black guy from Trinidad, and he had this big, basso-full voice line. You cola nut, uncola nut, you decide. And that's where the rap came from. So that was the inspiration. That was the impetus behind it. So I just thought I'd give him a little bit of that, and he liked it. So.
At this point, I see pictures of other Grim Reapers, just in general, and I still hear that voice, even if it's
Thank you.
nothing to do with the Grim Adventure. So yeah, it's iconic. But I want to circle over to Maxwell. So in this situation, you got your Grim, the show got approved, Grim and Evil, and then it became the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Now you're working on this show for 7 years. What was it like in that writer's room, and was there anything that comes to mind that you wish would have made it in, but for whatever reason did not?
We didn't really have a writer's room like you have today. It was we were a premise-based show, so it was very storyboard-driven. So I would basically write, 15, 16, 1 to 3 page outlines at the beginning of each season. And those would go in a little box on the door to my office, and the storyboarders would come and, dig through to see which one they wanted to do. And if there wasn't anything that they were feeling, I was like, well, go write your own. And then, a lot of times we would sort of talk about it up front, and they would kind of check in with me once or twice along the way. But a lot of the specifics of the jokes and stuff, I didn't even know about until we pitched it. So yeah, it was fun.
Oh wow! So from the actor's perspective, did you receive any scripts then, or was that more like, hey, here's what's happening, say what you want to say?
The actors got scripts, but they were all kind of typed off the board afterwards, and often you'd have to provide some sort of context to what the words meant.
We only got the words, what they specifically wanted us to say, and they would direct us in particular with what was going on in that particular scene. Also, I remember when we first started, I have stacks and stacks of storyboards that they would send us. Every week I would get FedEx the storyboard if I knew I was going to go in.
And these things are 300 plus
They
pages.
were a big stack of storyboards, and
I
I think I have a ton of them in storage now, because I didn't throw them away, because, I don't know, I have sentimental value for them. You see Grim and all the characters in their naked splendor, as it were, before it goes to air, So yeah, I remember that. And that helped a lot, though. That helped a lot with the context. And I think eventually they stopped sending them.
I don't think Grey Delisle read a single one.
So was there, was there much room for improvisation though? Because you have a stand-up background, which means that you probably are very quick on your feet. And I know for a fact, just talking to you now, was there room to do improv?
Well, you know what? If I had wanted to, I'm sure, that, Max would have been cool with it. Because, the good thing about working with someone like him is because he's very receptive to ideas that actors bring. I mean, I think Richard was talking about.
Yeah, you guys improv all the time.
Yeah, well, especially Richard. I mean, Richard doing Billy is it's like ADD, DDD, ZZZ, whatever. You just off
all the
things. Yeah, all the letters. Yeah, but I kind of like the scripts were actually so well written that with me it was not so much improvisation. It was just knowing when to hit the inflections. You know what I mean? Knowing how to really zing it and bring it to life. Because I thought, especially toward the end of the show, the last season, even the beginning it was like, okay, this is cute, but the ending, the final seasons, the show just got better and better and better. Just got better written and more funnier, and they were doing all these crazy things for Grim to get into. My particular favorite episodes is when Grim and Dracula get together in the desert. You remember that episode? Scrape and lick. Dracula don't bite. He scrape and lick. That guy, Phil Lamar, the great Phil Lamar, and the interaction between those two characters, I thought was just, hysterical.
That's all. I mean, I absolutely love that. And of course, we're gearing into that spooky season, so I'm going to start my rewatch very soon. But I do want to talk about, obviously you just mentioned how well written the show was. I want to ask, do you have any lines, whether you spoke them or not, that are memorable to you that you would maybe consider your favorite? This is a question for the both of you. I know I'm asking you 7 years worth of audio. Which is your favorite out of all the lines? But do you have a favorite?
Well, I got to tell you, my favorite is when he talks to Mandy, because Mandy, to me, is by far 10 times scarier than Grim. And Grim, it was an episode where Grim just turned to her and said, The whole childhood wonder team went right past you, didn't it? I just thought that was hysterical. That just sums up who she was, you know.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick favorites, just because I probably have a lot of favorites, but I don't know, it's some of the little things that I do feel like I got away with, like just the Mandy openings, like where she's like, this is the end, smash your television, and I'm like, they put that on the air. I don't know how I got away with that. As you would think, I don't know, they were so worried about what kids might do and what you might encourage a kid to do that I don't know how that happened.
And they had those like backwards messages at the end of every episode, right?
Oh yeah, that was my voice backwards at the end.
That's awesome. Is there any lines that you said during that stand out to you? Maybe not your favorite, but maybe to stand out.
That was always just the same, and it was no, this is the end of the show. You're watching it backwards.
Oh, okay. Because I guess as it was backwards, I never really stopped to think, these are the same line. So now that we have that, the show next year will be celebrating its 25th anniversary, which is wild to think about, right? It's insane. Now, I don't know if there's anything coming up, and we're going to respect any potential NDAs in case there is, but on the chance that there isn't, where would you think, this is a question for both of you, where do you think these characters would be 25 years after the premiere? Because you're stuck with them forever. You're their best friend forever.
Yeah, that's a daunting thought. If Grimm would even survive 25 years of these two brats. I don't know. He'll be at their mercy. I think Billy would still mentally be in the same place. I think Mandy would probably have been a serial killer by now. Do you think?
Well, there's no NDA, so I can say that I did write sort of a reboot/revisit movie for Billy and Mandy that does address where they are 25 years later, and nothing will probably happen with it, but you're pretty much dead on. There's a few surprises in there.
All right, we gotta make sure that this happens. And then I have one more question before I turn it over to the audience. So before I do this, anyone who I know there's a few people who want to ask questions. What we're gonna do is just line up, and we're gonna get you a microphone so you can ask your questions as well. Just start thinking about them right now, just in case. But very last question, and I know we said we don't have favorites, but if you had to pick a favorite character, this is for both of you. It doesn't have to be Grimm, even though it's probably Grimm, right? Grimm was one of my favorites. But if you couldn't choose Grimm, who would be your favorite character?
You mean from the show?
From the show?
Do you remember who was the one that played Puddins?
Jane Carr?
Jane Carr. And she had this little girl voice. I'm pretty. I can't do it. But I like Puddins. I thought Puddins was kind of cute. Well, you guys also know that
I was Spurg. You didn't know that, did you? I'm Spurg as well.
Grimm and Spurg. Spurg was the bully. You remember that? Yeah. That was me too. Just FYI.
Favorite characters? I mean, Jeff's a lot of fun because I do the voice of Jeff, but I think Haas is probably one of my favorites to write for anyway.
I used to love Jeff the Spider.
Anyone aggressively dumb, I enjoy writing for.
I absolutely love that. So if anyone has any questions, please line up in the middle, and then we'll get those asked. One last question before we move over to them, just because it will get asked. Very quick, because you're going to get asked this question for sure. Do we have any advice for anyone who wants to break into the business?
Run.
There we go. That's your piece of advice. Run. Go the other direction.
I feel like I am less qualified to give advice on how to get into animation than I ever have. I didn't get in a normal way in the first place. Like Billy and Mandy, I pitched to people in Atlanta by mail, so I literally never met anybody, which is weird in the first place. And now nobody really pitches to a human being anymore. So I always just tell people, like, just if you love making art, if you love making animation, content, whatever, just keep making it. And if you find an audience, then that's when the studios usually find you these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my thing is do your thing in any particular fashion that you can, because now technology lends itself to people creating their own content. And what you do with that content is totally up to you, but if you have something that's unique and you want to get it out there, technology isn't stopping you anymore. You don't have to have $10 million to get studio equipment and all that. You can just use that little thing called a phone and do what you do. But it's all up to you. You know how you decide to utilize the medium that's available now. Whether it's animation, or whether you want to do comedy, or whether you want to just pop off. I mean, you know, everybody is doing it now, but there's very few people that really do stuff that's unique. And if you do anything that's really unique, and people will notice. And when the people notice, that's when Hollywood notices. So, you know, they'll come to you, and that's the best position to be in, is to have people come to you, have a network come to you, have a studio come to you, blah, 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 and then you're off to the races. So I'm just saying, you know, use the technology that's available to do whatever it is that you wish to do.
Can we get a round of applause for those answers? If you weren't inspired before, I hope you were inspired now. All right, my friend, can you give us your name and then give us your question?
My name is Aditya Parthipan. I've watched the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy on Cartoon Network when I was a kid, and I still watch reruns of it. By the way, Mr. Atoms, how long have you worked on this show? And Greg, you've worked with Greg and Richard on this show, which is the episode where Grim gets whacked by his mom and always gets annoyed. What was all of your guys' favorite episodes of the show so far?
Well, like I said, my favorite episode was with Grim and Dracula, when they go on a road trip and they get stuck in the desert. And I think Grim gets bit by a snake, and he asks Dracula to suck the blood out of him.
Don't you mean a scorpion?
Scorpion, whatever. Yeah, the scorpion, that's right. He knows the details. Absolutely. He gets bit by a scorpion and he asks Dracula to suck the blood out of him. And Dracula just ain't having it, you know. That was a great parody of Fear and Loathing, right? Fear
And sometimes Star Wars, yes.
Yeah, it's sometimes Star Wars. So that was one of my favorite episodes.
And also the Nobody Loves Christmas episode where they stuck their head on a baby's doll. Was that funny?
Yeah. I guess.
Thank you so much for the questions.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michael, and seeing that this was a 2000 show and it's an era lost to time, I was wondering, is there anything back in the day that was better, whether like drawing on paper or being in the offices more, that you kind of look back on wistfully?
Yeah, I mean, things are very different now, so I've realized over time that I do kind of miss drawing on paper, so I'm enjoying doing that here right now today. Yeah, everything is so different. Like we were saying before, you used to just have to carry around 42 pounds of paper everywhere you went, and now sometimes you don't even go into work. And I'm mixed on that. My friend C.H. Greenblatt, who created Chowder, I worked with him on Jellystone, and we were sort of talking about if we came back for a third season, would we? Because we were all remote. We were would we want to go back in? And we decided 2-3 days a week seems perfect. Just check in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or maybe just Monday, Friday, and kind of let everybody do their thing in between. But see what happens, I guess.
Awesome. Thank you. Did you have any things from back then that you miss?
Not really. I mean, as an actor,
I do miss shoving all of you guys in the booth together.
Oh yeah, I do miss the camaraderie of being, with actors, all of us. But that happened more frequently in animation. You only pretty much act with yourself when you're doing games, because you can't get that. There's tons of people that are involved, tons of actors that are involved in any given game, and they're not going to get everybody in the booth at the same time, and the schedules and stuff like that. But we had the luxury of actually being in the booth together, both myself, Gray, and Richard, and whatever co-stars we would have come in with the episode. So that was always fun.
Just the ability to have you guys play off each other.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't remember who, but this morning somebody was like, "Oh yeah, we were on the same show," and they'd never actually met each other.
Yeah. that happens a lot. So, yeah.
I bet. Thank you so much for your question. Hey, what's your name? What was your question?
I'm Brendan. Hello, guys.
Hey,
Hello.
how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm a little nervous right now.
Don't be nervous.
I'm nervous too.
Yeah. I got two questions. Is that all right?
Sure.
This one is for Mr. Eagles. Yeah, what would Grim do if he met Aku Aku from Crash Bandicoot for the first time?
Oh, what would Grim do? He would probably try to scrape him with his scythe, man. Get out of here, you little annoying mask! That's probably what he'll probably do. Now, that's an interesting question. You know, it'd be interesting to have those two guys meet up, you know? They kind of they're similar in tone, but Grim has much more of a Jamaican thing going on than Aku, I think. But yeah, I don't know if they get along or not. I have to really give that some thought.
You don't think Aku Aku would help the Grim Reaper?
If he asked him to get rid of Billy and Mandy, he would, but maybe. I think that would probably be the request, man, but he can't even do that himself, so what you gonna do?
Fair enough. Well, you said you had another question?
For both of you, what was it like working on the TV movie Big Boogie Adventure?
Oh, Big Boogie Adventure, that was fun. Yeah, I remember that one.
As far as our interaction goes, like that was, I don't know, 4 or 5 days of recording, but it was all kind of like back to back. And,
There's a lot of singing involved.
Yeah, we were doing those on top of the regular series, so it was just, I got to see more of him.
Definitely not a bad thing. Thank you so much for your questions. You're welcome.
Good question.
Hello, what was your name? What was your question?
Hi, my name's Janelle, and I'm here with my husband, Mark, over here.
Hi, Mark.
He's over here, a little shy. He went to your booth. We grew up watching Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy since we were kids, and I do have a question for you. In terms of like the character development and everything, and who, how do I say this? Who were Billy and Mandy based off of? Were they based off of people in real life or family members
Kind
or
of.
something?
In a way, Billy is me and Mandy is my sister, but there's a lot of years between that idea and where they ended up. Billy as a character has kind of always been around since I was a kid. When I was like 8, I used to draw these Billy in Space comics, and he had a smaller nose and blonde hair and like a cool visor and stuff. But he just sort of devolved as time went on. And,
Devolved.
yeah.
I know he just.
And Mandy, physically she's changed even from my college film where she had pigtails, and then I got to Cartoon Network and they were like, hey, we've already got a show with 3 girls with pigtails, can you not do pigtails? And I was like, okay. So, it's a mashup of a lot of different people and ideas. I always say Billy, Mandy, and Grimm are all really parts of myself, sort of the ego and superego idea.
Yeah, pretty much. And of course, I can't forget Grimm. He's actually my favorite, obviously favorite out of all of them. I'm being honest, but just because I feel like he's mood every day. So you as a voice actor, do you at times, like if you're getting ready for the day, this is just random, do you ever sometimes cough up a voice here and there, and you could be singing in the shower, or you could be brushing your teeth and you're just like, oh, you act like Grimm, or you act like Haku, whatever, I don't know.
You mean do I dredge up any of my characters?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm combing my hair right now. As Grimm doesn't have any hair, but yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I feel grimmy, when you get annoyed sometimes, you get the chance to be grimmy. You say, oh my God, I gotta get out of bed. Not, oh, I don't want to get out of bed. No, I can't get out of bed this morning. Of course, I felt that way this morning, as a matter of fact. So had to get
Actually,
early.
that exact same voice every morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your question. Hey there, what's your name and what's your question?
Hello, my name is Ruben.
Hi, Ruben.
I've been watching cartoons all my life and stuff. And something that I've been noticing about in today's generation is that they're releasing lots of cartoons on DVDs, like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. And that's something pretty cool. Something that kind of bums me out is that for the Billy and Mandy DVDs, there's only one CD and it's on eBay, worth like for $150. I'm not trying to pay for that, and I want to know if you guys are ever gonna release your full collection of DVDs eventually, just like Teen Titans or Dexter Laboratory, Courage the Cowardly Dog, like all the Cartoon Network like cartoons. Is that ever possible?
I mean, that's kind of up to Cartoon Network.
That's not our
Get
decision.
David Zasloff on the phone at Warner Brothers
Yeah, talk to that dude.
and let him know.
But, you know, we did make Big Boogie Adventure, which was a movie about pirates. So if you want to take inspiration from that, I cannot be held legally responsible.
Nah, it's okay. I just wanted to know if it was ever possible. Because I did see that.
Well, you know what? I'm thinking, I'm not to cut you off, but maybe since we are coming up on 25 years, you would think that maybe they could possibly do something like that. That would make sense.
They did put out an Ed, Ed, and Eddie collection last year, so...
Yeah, that's right. Write Cartoon Network, man. Write them. Write Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I will. Warner Brothers did say
Tweet
that.
at them, send them an Instagram message, send them mail, like fan mail.
Let them, and it goes for all of you, each and every one of you. Get there. Tell them what you wanted, man.
Just DM them a screenshot of your bank account and say, this money could be yours. If you
Good
just
idea.
release
Good idea.
it's the full series on DVD. Well, thank you so much for that. I hope they do. I hope they do.
I hope they do too, man.
All right, thank you, bye.
Hey, friend, what was your name? What was your question?
Hi, my name's Nicholas, and I have two questions really. You remember the codename Kids Next Door, right? I haven't forgotten you did a crossover with them. Was it kind of fun?
Yes and no. That it was fun because I'm very good friends with Mr. Warburton, who created the Kids Next Door, and we'd been talking for years about wanting to do some sort of crossover. And then when he decided to do it was right after we finished Big Boogie, Wrath of the Spider Queen, and the Big Cheese crossover, and I was just completely wiped out. So he was like, come on, do it. And I was like, I don't want to do that. He was like, come on, it's our last chance. So finally I was like, okay. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. The Cartoon Network actually flew me out to New York, which was uncharacteristic for them, and I got to hang out for post. It was very nice.
Well, you did a good job anyways.
Thank you.
You say you had another question?
No, that was
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Kind of a light applause. Could have got a heart on that. I feel like, yeah.
We're anticipating this one.
Hey, Maxwell, hi, Greg. How's it going? I just want to thank you personally because I'm a professor and I was getting so depressed reading AI-generated like papers over and over again. So on my second screen, I just have Billy and Mandy like going 24/7, and that I think has saved my life, perhaps, or at least kept me going a few years. So thank you for that and all the memories.
My wife's a teacher too. I'll recommend that too.
Oh my God, it's the only, I will be reading, I'm like, oh my God, then I look over and Billy's doing something funny, and I'm like, okay, life's worth it. On a totally legal website, by the way. On a definitely legal website, that's not Internet Archive. But I want to ask both of you something, and that is, you are, obviously associated with the golden age of Cartoon Network. I mean, it wasn't just you, it was like so many good shows, Invader Zim, Powerpuff Girls, Hey Arnold. I could literally be here for the next 2 hours listing shit off. But I want to know, like, what do you think led to this, like, the age that you were succeeding in, this golden age of content, and like what has led us to where we're at now? It kind of feels like we're in like a dark age. It kind of feels like there aren't any new cartoons. There's not any creator-driven cartoons. And even like preserving stuff like that 2 questions ago, like we can't even get a Blu-ray of Billy and Mandy going on? Like what? Like, what the hell? And so I just wanted to ask, like, what do you think were the ingredients that led to your success and like other creators like you, and why are we in such a negative kind of space now?
I mean, I came in, that was sort of what made it a golden age for me, I guess, was that it was so creator-driven. And all the shows at Cartoon Network and a lot of them at Nickelodeon, even a couple at Disney were that way. So that was sort of just a thing that was happening. And Cartoon Network sort of at least destroyed themselves, or at least their version of that, around 2010 when they decided to switch over to live action. They just sort of canned everybody at the studios, started up that whole thing, and that didn't go anywhere. So it literally became a different network than it was today. And I think where we are now is, everybody really invested hard in streaming, and then that sort of ate itself. So now we're just at this point where I think after the pandemic and all these mergers, everybody was like, well, wait, we're not going to make anything because, pandemic, and then, oh, wait, we're not going to make anything until we're done merging. And now everybody's done with all that stuff, and they're like, oh, we didn't actually think about, what would happen if we didn't make anything. So I don't know really what's going on. It's just going to be a different business than it was, and I have a hard time saying what that's going to look like, really.
Well, I'm hopeful that you'll continue to work, and that I think there's enough nostalgia for Grimm and Billy and Mandy that we're going to get that reboot. I think that movie's going to happen eventually.
It'd be fun.
I hope so. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
The man with the mohawk.
My name is Louis, and my question's for Mr. Adams. I believe you crossed paths with Ed Roth, correct?
No, but
Never?
No, never. But we did have a couple of really big fans on the show.
So you never collabed with him in the past or anything?
You said Ed Roth?
Yeah.
As in Ed Big Daddy Roth?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, man.
That would have been very cool, but it's never happened.
So you never did a design for him at all in the past at the Rat Thing?
No, we had our art director during the latter half of Billy and Mandy, and one of our board artists were really big on him. We have the episode where everybody kind of turns into Big Daddy Roth.
Right. Oh man, so I could have sworn that because they did do like a small stint redesign of the Rat Thing at one point. I could have sworn that was you that did that design. So you're
No, it would have been that would have been cool. I'm terrible at drawing cars, so I don't know how well that would have gone anyway.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, well that answers my question then. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. Hello, I love your shirt. What was your name and what was your question?
Thanks. My name is Armando. Thanks for creating the show. It's because of the show I have a straight sense of humor, right? Dark sense of humor. It's pretty hilarious. Question for both of you. So if you were able to make a special crossover episode where they meet a horror icon, who would it be? Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Freddy Krueger. Who would it be?
I actually do think Freddy Krueger would be a particularly fun one to do.
Nice.
I actually do think we have a weird little cameo where there's sort of a Freddy or a Freddy-esque character in one of the episodes.
Yeah,
I can't remember which one, but yeah, I've always thought that would be fun. Somebody at one of the last couple of conventions had me do a Grimm and the Terrifier buddies pose.
I was thinking about that, yeah.
The fun thing about bringing Billy and Mandy back was that it was all just satire and parody, and there's just so much culture and so much media that has appeared since we stopped that that'd be a lot of fun just to tackle that stuff.
I want to see him with Chucky. Chucky and Billy and Chucky going at it. That's what I want to see.
That would be hilarious.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe, who knows, with the whole family and Tiffany and the kid, that'd be funny, yeah. Oh, that's it. All right, thanks.
I would put Billy and Mandy and Grimm at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Like a Five Nights at Freddy's, Billy and Mandy crossover. I think that's a great way to print money, so whoever needs to make that happen needs to make it happen.
Please make it happen.
Is it Fred Burgers?
Yes!
Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's. I love Fred.
He's already percolated. Look at him. Percolated.
Nachos!
Hey, and I don't even need writing credit. Just make it happen. Please. Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.
Hello. Looks like you're the final questions. What was your name and what are your questions?
My name is Skylar. I was wondering what your favorite creative headcanons are, if you know what those are. They're sort of like ideas of little pet peeves, habits, little things that never really get addressed in the show that would really fit a character that you see a character doing off screen or something?
Like things that they already do, or
yeah,
things.
little small things that kind of really character, really round the character out. Small little habits or things that they do.
I was talking to, we had one of our original directors show up out there not long ago, and I was talking to him and remembering some of the stuff he added, because since it is such a collaborative process, people are always adding things in their drawings and in the exposure sheets and whatnot. And I remember he was like the one guy that started, Mandy will occasionally get frustrated and be like, and she pinches the bridge of her nose, but she doesn't have a nose. So we went through this whole thing where he would bring me drawings and be like, I don't know, that looks weird. And then finally we got it. But it's stuff like that I think is always fun, just the little tiny character bits.
Yeah.
Oh, with Grim, he's always mumbling into something. That kind of stuff. I love that,
yeah.
In my headcanon, Billy listens to Chaperone daily. Pink Pony Club is on his playlist. That's it. That's my headcanon. Thank you so much for that, guys. All right, so I have one last question, because we're talking about just spin-offs in general, and I have ADHD, probably undiagnosed. So I have a thought, and I want to get your thought first before I put mine into the universe. If you could cross over Billy and Mandy with any other show, Cartoon Network or not, what show would it be?
I like any show?
Any show, for example, for you, since you'd be maybe in the booth with them, maybe you want to work with a specific actor, and this might be the perfect opportunity to be alongside them.
Well, just as far as the tone of the show, I mean, if it's any show, whether it's animation or live action,
any show.
Well, I would like to see maybe Billy and Mandy with Wednesday. From the Addams Family, Wednesday, and I would love to see her and Mandy go at it. Two little bitches. About to get stitches. I think that would be interesting.
I was going to say It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because it's one of my favorites. But I do feel like it would be funnier just to do Law and Order SVU and just do it completely straight, except for Billy, Mandy, and Greg.
The one that came into my mind is Invader Zim. The Zim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. That's it. That's
going to take some Steven Spielberg level negotiating, but that would be fun.
You know what? Some Roger Rabbit level negotiation. We can make it happen, right? Someone with money. Did you have one more question, Skylar? You have any other questions? Or you're good?
No, I'm good.
Okay, awesome. All right, with all that said, no, sorry, no, you're good. With all that said, can we get a quick round of applause for Greg and Maxwell? Before you both go, can you remind the people where you'll be at this convention and maybe where they can find you online?
Where are we? You'll find us. We're on the floor. I don't know specifically. we're around. We're with the voice actors, so you'll.
Why won't you love us?
Because, we're right next to each other, so it's not like you go to one end of the hall to find me and one end of the hall to find him. So we're right next to each other. And as far as my socials, you can always follow me at Eagles Swag on Instagram. That's EAGLASW. AG like swag, baby. Eagles Swag on Instagram. That's me. And I will be going to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If you follow my Milwaukee people, if you happen to be back in the Midwest, I'll be attending the Nostalgia Con the 27th, 28th, and 29th of this month. Back in my hometown.
Awesome. What about you, Maxwell?
I'm going to be right next to him, and you can find me on Instagram. I'm the real Maxwell Atoms. Watch out for the fakes. I'm also on Tumblr, in case anybody uses that. There's a Patreon. I don't know. I'm around. I'll see you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I've been Jimmy. One more quick round of applause for our friends.